Welcome to the deserts of Tatooine, Merthyr Mawr sand dunes in South Wales, and today we're going to be playing with this ridiculous thing. It's a Tiger Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace battle droid binoculars camera. It is ridiculous because it has a feature that I've never seen on another camera. I'd love to know if there are others like this. Please do say so down in the comments if you know of one. But essentially what it can do is superimpose images of characters from the movie onto your film. Now obviously in the modern day this is ridiculously easy with Photoshop, but to have it on the film negative itself I think is really fun. I've brought it to a desert. It's quite a small desert, but a bunch of sand dunes here on the South Wales coast, and we're going to see if we can get any photos out of it. I just really want to superimpose Darth Maul on everything. It just seems right. And this was a movie of my childhood. I remember even where I saw it in a cinema on the Isle of Wight in the first week it came out. It's a really interesting thing. I don't know how well this is going to work though. It doesn't seem to have a DX code reader, so I'm going to guess that it's intended to be used with 200 speed film because that's the cheap film that everybody used back in the 90s. So yes, if you're wondering how this thing works, well, it's quite bizarre. You've got this wheel on the top, and what that does is actually wind a character past on this film on the back. So at the moment it's set to Amidala, but obviously you can set it to a blank one and just have a normal photo. I'm curious to see if this affects the exposure, but then you can wind the character across and it denotes which character is using this tiny little screen here. So we have F for Queen Amidala somehow. Anyway, kind of interesting. You put your film over the top of it and then you obviously close the whole thing up. The film winders on the bottom and goes the opposite way to what I was expecting. On the viewfinder side, it's on the left, which is horrendous for me, and you pop it up like that. It's quite a strange thing as well. It's got this sort of blue strip to indicate where the character's going to be, and otherwise it's kind of not going to align with the lens at all really. The lens itself is kind of interesting, so you can open it, but then you've also got this white strip that goes across it, and that is to make the characters sort of stand out by themselves. Kind of indicates that they might be a bit translucent otherwise, so I'm curious to see how it turns out. There is also a flash here that will fire off from there, and that's pretty much it. The shutter button is up on the top, but aside from that, that's kind of all the controls you get. So I have absolutely no idea how this is going to turn out. So to start with, I have a roll of Kodak Color Plus. It is lightly expired, but it's only a 24 exposure roll. I feel like doing a 36 exposure roll might be a challenge because at the end of the day there's not an awful lot to photograph out here. I mostly just want to insert characters into desert scenes. After this though, I might try some black and white. Kind of curious to see how that turns out as well. But let's load this into the camera and get started, because the camera itself is just a really bizarre creation, and I've never even heard of these before. So let's get the film in. I think there's a notch to insert it into. Yep. There we go. Just do it like that and then close it up. Before I set off from this shot, I'm going to take a shot, the first shot, with the blank setting, so no characters superimposed. It's very, very windy. Let's see how it turns out. This is impossible. It's so small. Right, this is the most awkward viewfinder I have ever used, so we'll see how this turns out. I feel like Lawrence of Arabia. Right, well, while I'm still on the dunes, let's get a Darth Maul shot going, because in the movie, that's the first time you meet him. I think it's D for Darth. I mean, could be D for Dave, but I'm guessing Darth. So let's get him sort of superimposed on the sand here. I think I need only sand behind him, because I think if he's in front of the trees he'll come out looking quite oh, this viewfinder's bloody dreadful. It's very hard with your glasses on, so I think I'm going to aim down quite a lot. I'll try that. Maybe I need a better angle. Let's try this. There we go. Right. I have absolutely no idea how these are turning out. Do feel free to laugh in the comments. Quite liking this scene with the path going straight up. I'm going to see if I can insert a character walking up it. I don't know who C is supposed to be. Let's give it a go. They're right over on the left, so you kind of got to be like that. Not sure about that one. It's an amazing view from here. It's just not an amazing smell, because there is a sewage treatment plant just over the side of the river over that way, and that's unfortunate because the wind is blowing this way. It always is when I come here. Something I probably should have done is memorise which characters relate to which letters, because it goes from A to F, and I think D is Darth Maul, either by coincidence or design, and I think A might be Anakin. Aside from that, don't think the rest line up. So this is going to be a bit of a potluck as to which characters end up in which shots. But let's give it another go. Let's try B for something. Kind of want to see if I could get them sort of stood on things, but there's not really an accurate indication of where they're going to end up, which is a bit of a problem. So they're probably just going to be floating in most of these photos. I think some closer up shots or shots on flatter land might make more sense. I feel like I'm slightly lost. This might be quite a good spot for bird photography actually. I think those dead trees would make for quite interesting perches, and the background's got a bit of separation as well. Yeah, so I am slightly lost. I mean, not really lost, I have a good sense of direction, and I mean, I know the river estuary's over there, so ultimately I'll find my way out, but the paths are very meandering, and they disappear sometimes as well. I wasn't even the only one that's lost. I met a couple of teenage girls who were lost somewhere over there, trying to find their way on a specific path, but they had a compass with them, so they're better prepared than I am. It's not the first time I've been lost on some sand dunes. Won't be the last either. The first time was about 15 plus years ago, and I wrote a poem, and weirdly I remember it better than I remember most things. I don't remember people's names very easily, appointments, important dates, most things, but I do remember the poem. Lost on dunes, too tall to find a landmark or some peace of mind, that we might be nearly there, not treading sand and eating hair. Which might be relatable to you, but I have a feeling you might need hair of about this length. And I have eaten it multiple times so far today. It's quite windy. I do kind of want to give it a go going out towards the sea, because part of me wants to try and make the characters on this camera look like kaiju, like Godzilla, rising up out of the sea, which I think might be a bit of a laugh. But that's sorry, I can always come back the other way. Don't think you'll be able to see it, but right in the distance over here there's a fallow deer, I think. I didn't know that there were deer down here. That's good to know. May have just found a wildlife photography spot. I think this is the start of the beach. Oh, bloody hell, it's still miles away. What happens if you put him behind the camera? I mean, he'll be in front of the camera, but we'll roll with it. Go about there. It's interesting, the longer I've spent out here surrounded by sand, the more I am starting to understand Anakin's opinion of it. It is coarse and rough and gets everywhere. I think my boots are entirely full. Am I at the point where it's going to make me angry enough to slaughter all the Jedi younglings yet? Right, well this is kind of where I wanted to get to, and then I'm going to try and walk back up the river. But let's see if I can get one of the characters stood very tall like a kaiju. I mean, I think Jar Jar would be the obvious choice. I think he's on E. Let's try that. What am I up to? Frame 17. This is taking longer than I thought. I'm not sure I want to go through an entire roll of black and white as well. It's quite a hard camera to use. Let's try over there as well. If none of these come out, I'll be moderately disappointed, but I at least had fun shooting it. I'm going to try one with the white flippy bit out, just because, why not? Let's do it with Old Faithful Darth Maul. Let's just get a nice sort of beach scene with him stood off to one side. It's a bit of a weird feature, to be honest, but it does kind of imply that it might not work very well without it, in my opinion. But we'll find out. It's a solid piece of white, it's not translucent, so maybe it's got enough light. Otherwise, it's a very curious camera. Well, after a quick hat change due to the very strong wind down here on the beach, I have made it to the mouth of the Ogmore River. At least I think it's called the mouth, the bit where it enters the sea. Anyway, lovely area. But quite windy. My plan now is to walk up the Ogmore River towards Ogmore Castle, and I may or may not get there because I think it's a little bit further on than I need to go, and then cut back across the dunes to the car park, because I guess I do need to go back to my car at some point. I guess the real question you have to ask yourself is WWQGD. What would Qui-Gon do? You know, aside from gamble and induct a child into a weird religious order, I guess. Just realised I could use the last shot to do the sort of episode 1 poster thing with Anakin with Darth Vader's shadow, although I mean it's just me with a stupid camera on a beach, but let's try it on this. We'll find out. Okay, that was the end of the roll, so I'm going to try and rewind this now. I've never found it easy to rewind film cameras. Auto rewind was one of the better features that came out in the film era. Lovely. Right. A little bit of the way up the river estuary, and I am actually going to give up, and I'm not going to load the black and white film into this because my knees are starting to ache. My left knee in particular, which wasn't the one I was worried about, so that's fun. But anyway, I've had a fun time with this camera. It's a really interesting device. Shooting with my non-dominant eye through a circular viewfinder, which does not accommodate for glasses, and has a very long shutter button throw for some reason. It's a very strange device. A few short years later, this would be very boring. It would just be a digital camera that superimposes a photo. That is of no interest to me. To do it in hardware with film is very, very interesting. It's very reflective of that late film era where everything had kind of been done. The technology was exceptionally mature and they were playing around with it a bit more. Now, I don't know if this is the only one of these. I highly doubt it. There's got to be more of these. They're probably made to spec for different companies that wanted licensing tie-ins. If you know of any others, please do let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know which ones are out there, because I stumbled across this by chance. Even though this was a movie I saw, this is something I would have bought as a kid. I've never heard of this. So I'd be really curious to know what other ones are out there. I'm going to wander back to my car now, and if you don't hear from me or don't see another video, send a search party, I guess. I'll be somewhere in the dunes.